and welcome to the 23rd episode of the TFG1 podcast. I am your host, TFG1 Mike, and I am joined with Steve Megatron and Michael Wilson. Hello, guys.
Howdy.
Hey.
Yes.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. We are recording episode 23 the same time as episode 22, so there really is no real need for general chat, because we've already pretty much covered everything this week in episode 23, or episode 22.
Screw that shit.
Yes, so screw that shit.
You don't want to talk briefly about how you couldn't manage to transform your Shattered Glass Optimus Prime back into the truck?
You smug son of a...
Or how
you're trying to transform your version of Rampage.
What? No.
You're over there playing with
I'm
your
trying
crab.
to put them in the one. Is he a crab? Yeah, he is a crab.
Yes, he is a crab.
He's a king crab. He's the biggest crab of all.
He's the hardest to get rid of.
He's shiny, too. I got shiny crabs.
Okay, this episode will serve as the Season 3 recap on a whole, as episode 24 will be about the Rebirth Saga. The features listed below are only Season 3 Part 1 disc set. I'm including the Season 3 Part 2 and Season 4 features in episode 24 of the podcast. Basically, just to break down the special features on the Season 3 Part 1 set here. A Taste of BotCon 2003, which Michael Wilson was not in. Transformers public service announcements. Transformers historical trailers. They only have 3 listed, but at the end of some of the Season 3 episodes, there is Quintesson historical trailer, cassette historical trailer, the City Bots. The ones listed as special features are for Autobots, Decepticons, and Predacons. Just about the set itself, I know that you guys don't have the Rhino set. I like throughout all these sets how they did the murals on the outer flips.
Where they fold out. Yeah, those are nice.
Like this one has most of the Combaticons, actually all of the Combaticons, Swindle, Vortex, Blastoff, and the rest of the idiots. The other thing, I meant to mention this with the other recap episodes. I didn't realize this until I actually started looking at the DVD sets where the discs are. The discs match the backing color. Like the first disc for this set is like grayish black, and the backing color is the same color, red, and then like a teal. So I thought that
so they kind of blend in.
I thought that was really, really cool. Overall, this, Season 3, I like a lot of the episodes, a lot of the good episodes, actually, I should say. A lot of the bad ones really suck. Just really quick, my own personal favorites. The Five Faces of Darkness 5-parter, Dark Awakening, Carnage in C minor, shut the fuck up, Michael, whatever the hell you want to say, I don't care. Forever is a Long Time Coming, Starscream's Ghost, Ghost in the Machine, Only Human, Call of the Primitives, Grimlock's New Brain, Burden Hardest to Bear, and The Return of Optimus Prime 2-parter. Only Human we should bring up, considering I did finally get the screen caps for the RC human form being on a red motorcycle, kind of like the red RC motorcycle toy from Revenge of the Fallen. And what did you tell me after I posted those pictures, Michael?
About what? Her bending over the motorcycle?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you basically said it's an ass shot for one of the...
that one. That's right. It's like, oh my god, I can totally see your crotch. It's like, we were comparing it to Michaela bending over the motorcycle in the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And it was like, oh my god, I can totally see your beaver. Yeah. Can't really RC because she's fully clothed in this pink jumpsuit thing.
Yes. So why don't we start with Steve, since Steve really hasn't been talking all that much. What are some of your favorite episodes?
Speak, Steve.
Season 3.
Well, okay, there we go. I was doing that on purpose.
Damn you!
You smug son of a...
Anyway, go ahead. What are some of your favorite episodes from Season 3?
No, screw you. You beat me.
Now you're a smug son of a bitch, and the whole world knows it.
Yes. My favorite episodes, I'd have to say, are Starscream's Ghost, Ghost in the Machine, Only Human, and The Return of Optimus Prime's Part 1 and 2. Now, the Starscream Ghost episode and only Ghost in the Machine I like because, well, it's got Starscream, and I like Ghost in the Machine because he gets his body back and sticks it to Unicron.
Yeah.
I like Only Human because Cobra Commander makes a Transformer crossover.
Yes, he does, and we actually have him on the show.
They simply don't make terrorists like they used to. Cobra!
That's what that 2-pack that they have.
Yep. And then, of course, The Return of Optimus Prime Part 1 and 2, which we discussed in the previous episode.
Now, I mean, I know you like the Starscream's Ghost and Ghost in the Machine, but, I mean, specifically, for those episodes, what did you like best about them?
Well, for Ghost in the Machine, I like how Starscream ran around basically toying with Galvatron, getting Galvatron to shoot at his second-in-command, and the fact that he returned. I like Ghost in the Machine because the whole episode's basically Starscream fighting to get his body back from Unicron, and then makes Unicron his bitch by the end of the episode, telling him to do his own dirty work after he's already got his body, and shows his own treachery that he used to give to Megatron. The Only Human I like because it gives it a weird twist of what would happen if the Transformers became human, kind of to get the opposite of the Autobot Spike syndrome, with Cobra Commander, of course, presenting all of his resources to this criminal mastermind. But yeah, so overall, that's pretty much why I like those episodes.
Very cool. And what are some of your favorite episodes, Mr. Wilson?
Well, I have to, disagree with you at some point because I don't like the Five Faces of Darkness. I kind of thought that they kind of rehashed the movie a little too much with that one. It was supposed to be an epic 5-part series, but there was a lot of stuff they probably could have done without, and a lot of stuff that really just copied off the movie directly. It could have been better.
I will concede the fact that they used a lot of the movie footage in some parts of it, but it was a story to start Season 3, and it was very much different than the usual Megatron/Galvatron plan, where you introduced a whole new villain as far as the Quintessons. Yeah, we saw them before in the movie, but we didn't see them. When the movie ended, they were nowhere in sight. As far as that goes, so I like it on that level, and I'm not gonna disagree with you as far as them overusing direct movie footage. But overall, I thought the story was an awesome starter for Season 3. Especially with a lot of the bombs that Season 3 had.
Yeah, I understand there were a few episodes in Season 5 Season 3, that were just throwaways. But like I said, this could have been tightened up to maybe 3 episodes. It could have perhaps not have rehashed as much of the movie. It's almost like they were thinking that people didn't see the movie, so we have to kind of go over everything again. So people can say, "Oh, remember when that ship was defeating this Autobot ship, and they split the cockpit out in order to get away?" And oh yeah, I remember that. But did that happen in the cartoon or the movie? I don't remember. I remember it happening.
Okay, what are your favorite episodes from Season 3? Which ones did you like and why?
Well, I have to agree with everybody else. Starscream's Ghost, Ghost in the Machine. You've got Chris Latta making the triumphant return. Only Human, Chris Latta making the triumphant return as Cobra Commander, which totally kicked ass. There should have been a Destro cameo in there as well. That was the only way that one could have been better, is if Destro had made a cameo. And of course, Return of Optimus Prime 1 and 2, because you got Prime back. Hooray! And the touch. I'm kind of torn on Grimlock's New Brain because I really like that episode from this. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on there, but I don't really like the Technobots all that much. And the animation kind of sucked.
I mean, I can agree with that. Do you have anything to chime in on Grimlock's New Brain, Steve? See, I thought that Grimlock's New Brain, what with the Technobots, like I pointed out in episode 22, each of the Technobots have their own personality, and they kind of all combine into this one dull personality with Computron, because Computron is all about the super intelligence that Grimlock had given him. So, basically he is the super genius that the jocks pick on in high school. It's the only way I can justify it, but the Technobots individually, I like their personalities individually. I will agree that Computron has no personality, but he's not supposed to have a personality. He's not supposed to be like a strafe or an afterburner or whatever.
Right. They didn't spend as much time, with the personalities of the individual Technobots in Grimlock's New Brain like they did with Money is Everything. And you get a brief glimpse of, basically the personification of their tech spec real quick. And that's about it. But, I like Grimlock in general. And, I liked the team as a combiner set, and the Terracons, when they were introduced, I liked them as a combiner set. Actually, no, they were introduced in Call of the Primitives. But, again, Call of the Primitives would have been much better if they hadn't revealed that Unicron was cobbled together by
Yeah, we already went over that.
So basically, anytime you bring a voice actor from, the earlier episodes, earlier seasons, I should say, who hasn't been around in a while, like Lotta, like Cullen, that's going to be an awesome season 3 episode. Basically, because I was, ever since the movie, I had, harbored deep resentment for all the characters. I just didn't like any of them. I really hated Rodimus. Ultra Magnus, take him or leave him. Springer, I didn't hate him quite to the point that you did, but I didn't like him, so much.
Bastard.
He had his moments, but I just couldn't really get into it. I kind of dug RC, because she was, the pink one, the girl. But other than that, it's like, hey, I really don't have much emotional investment in any of these characters. They managed to kill off all the ones that I had emotional investment in the movie, right? So at this point, it's like, when are we going to get Starscream back? When's Prime coming back? Do I got to watch these fuckers for another season before they get to the good parts?
Everybody knows that every time I hear anybody mention Springer, just
Green Bastard.
Either Green Bastard or fucking Home Record, it's either Bastard or the F word will come out of my mouth, no matter what. I'm sorry, I just don't. God.
Right. But I mean, I kind of feel meh on the entire cast, and it's kind of like meh to bitterness.
If you go back from season 1 to season 3, and you watch every Dinobot episode, every episode that the Dinobots are in, the rest of them, Sludge, Slag, Swoop, Snarl, all the other ones other than Grimlock, are pretty much dumb. Sludge especially, but, I mean, for the most part, they're dumb. Grimlock has his dumb moments in the beginning part of the series, but he gets consistently dumber over time. I actually just pulled this up from the movie.
Me Grimlock not kisser, me Grimlock king.
So it goes from that to this.
Crunchy.
He just gets stupider and stupider. Yes, you've said that plenty of times. Yeah.
I know, but that's how I see him. He's jumping around. Hi, where's my ball? Yeah. But, whereas I would rather them trot out the Simon Furman Grimlock.
Mm-hmm.
Me Grimlock, badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I prefer that personification better. I prefer it better. That's some really bad grammar.
It doesn't matter. We're not that grammatically correct on this show, anyways.
I prefer it better.
Yes.
Yeah, crunchy.
As far as character development, even though Rodimus has his bad points, and I'm not one to not say that he doesn't. But I'm not one of those Rodimus haters like you bastards are. Well,
hey, I don't hate.
I was talking in general.
Don't be a hater.
To most of the Rodimus haters out there in the world that are probably going to be listening to this episode. If you,
they all say he's nowhere near as good as
that's fine, but still,
if G1 Megatron was still around, he'd be kicking his ass all up and down the street.
Toothbrush.
With a toothbrush.
Yeah, exactly. He can count his lucky stars. All he's got to contend with is Galvatron.
Do you guys have? I mean, I know, Michael. You said you really don't have an attachment or really like any of the characters in the third season. But if you had to pick, like, one of your favorite characters that you liked, whether it's in an episode or a scene, who would it be from Autobots and Decepticons? Yeah.
Oh man, a favorite?
Who the hell has those?
I know. It's like they killed all my favorites. I'm
not
sure what you mean.
If I came up to Northwest Indiana, came to your house, put a gun to your head, and said, pick a favorite Autobot and favorite Decepticon right now, where this bullet is going into your brain, who would you pick?
I was partial to Octane. I mean, in lieu of Swindle, because Swindle didn't have a whole lot of lines in this season, but Octane, I did dig him. I thought he was very mercenary. And then, of course, there's Starscream. He played a little part here, but I mean, he wasn't. Well, you know what? Honestly, Starscream probably had about as much screen time as Octane this season. And as far as the Autobots go, Grimlock is still an old standby. He spent a lot of time in season 3, and
well, no, I mean it's not really a question of new characters. It's a question of the entire season 3 character list from both sides. Who would you pick? So for the Autobots, who would you pick? It doesn't really have to be a new character. It's any of the characters that were shown.
Oh, I'd probably stick by Grimlock.
Yes.
Of my favorite characters, I would have to say Starscream.
And for the
because I'm a Chris Latta fan, and I'd have to say Galvatron would be a close second to him, just because Galvatron's cool and he's the new version of Megatron. As well as for the Autobots, I would have to say Rodimus / Optimus Prime. Because Rodimus may not have been the best leader, but he was a cool-looking replacement.
Oh yeah, very much so.
I suppose if that's what you're looking for in a leader is how cool they look, that might be suitable. You know what I would say is I was never really partial to Cyclonus. I mean, he's cool looking, but at the same time, I never really dug him as much until I went back and watched the episode.
I'm the same way with him, and the only reason why I started liking him more in the show is because after I got my Universe Cyclonus, I started watching the show looking for similarities between the U.S. version Universe Cyclonus to the show. And I'm sorry, I said this in Toycast episode 6, Decepticon Randomness. The Henkei Cyclonus is basically for girls. The U.S. version, for the toy, the U.S. version of Dark Purple is more spot on to the show than the Lavender version is. you know, obviously, one of the main reasons why I like Rodimus today is because of the simple fact that he has the most characterization out of any of the characters. I mean, yes, I understand he technically is a plot device to further the film along in the movie, but even though he's screwing up throughout the entire third season, he has the most character development out of all of them. And I will bring this up again when we do the Beast Unleashed podcast. Rodimus is basically Cheetor when Beast Wars and Beast Machines start. Those two characters are very similar. The only difference is Optimus came back and Primal went into the Great Void with Megatron.
I think the difference is that Cheetor evolved into a good leader.
Yes.
And Rodimus never did.
I should have grabbed the audio, but we'll either be saved or splattered. Enjoy the ride!
That's right. It's like you'd never hear Cheetor saying, "How about we just float through space until we smack into something?" Sure, that's a fantastic freaking idea. Yeah. By the time Beast Machines rolled, especially by the end of Beast Machines, Cheetor really came into his own and became a really good leader, maybe even a better leader than, I want to say Gary Chalk, maybe even a better leader than Optimus Primal. But you really didn't see that from Rodimus until the very last second.
It didn't give a lot of time, and I knew what they were doing. I mean, after obviously seeing the special features on the 20th anniversary edition and going back and watching these, I knew what they were doing because Flint Dille said that they were going to bring Optimus back. So, I mean, it all went as far as fandom demand, as far as I can see, because obviously there was a huge outcry when they killed Prime in the movie. Well, I did.
Nobody liked Rodimus.
But anyway.
But the thing is, why did they even bother redeeming him if they were going to bring Prime back anyway? And at the end he got a little redemption. He learned from the sensei, and he decided he was going to do the right thing. He got rage virus.
Yes, but he
anyway.
got cured, so it's okay.
But everybody got cured because they managed to waste the entire contents of the Matrix of Leadership. It's almost like, hey, see that planet? Yeah, it contains all the known resources of an entire race of people, Paradrone, but we're gonna blow it up. Oh, see that asteroid over there? It contains the dead, deactivated corpses of all of our friends and people that we've known and looked up to for millions of years, and we're just gonna fly that into the sun. Yeah, it's like, yeah, see that Matrix? It's full of the entire accumulated knowledge of all of our people for the last billion years. We're just gonna waste that and let it all blow out into the wind.
It's like they flushed it all down the toilet.
It's very wasteful. Yeah, they seem to be. Yeah, it's a recurring theme in this season.
It all comes to light in the next episode of TFG1 podcast when we will be discussing Rebirth. And I'm sorry, I will say this now, and I will say this then, that the Japanese continuity does not fucking exist. Transformers Generation 1 ended with Rebirth. Yes.
Whoa.
Me. You guys have anything?
It's just very difficult to reconcile the Japanese.
I don't even consider it. I honestly don't. I can say that I went and I watched some of it. Steve has some of the fan dubs for Headmasters on.
Well, that's because I voice Superion, one of the guys at the Protectobots.
Right, I know that, but I'm just saying,
Scourge.
You have that on the website, so I watched some of the episodes of that, and I just can't follow the continuity, and I just don't care, and I say it does not, the Japanese continuity does not exist, because it is done so poorly.
Well, the Japanese writing is a little off the wall, too, because it's very heavily peppered with Japanese culture that we just, as Westerners, just can't get our head around. I think I'd like to see those.
Yeah, they're on the website. They're under the video section, under fan dubs.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, there's only 5 episodes done, I think, so far.
I didn't like them either.
Like them, but yeah.
I only had 2 lines in one episode.
What kills me, though, it's like, hey, we're not going to use Optimus Prime as a leader anymore. We're going to kill him off again, and then we're going to go with, Metal Hawk or whoever they choose. Or he was the Pretender leader, and then the other one was
I think it would have been
Star Saber.
That's Victory.
No,
Victory Saber? Oh, no, Star Saber. Yeah.
Well, that's for Transformers Victory.
Yeah.
Different series.
They get really off the wall.
And then the Masters series is in the Master Force. So the Headmasters is Fortress Maximus as the leader.
The only thing I liked about Headmasters was that it showed the Blaster Soundwave epic battle, and then the reformatting of them, which I wish they would have. And I said this in Carnage in the review of Carnage in C Minor. I wish they would have done that in the U.S. continuity. I just wish they would have. It would have been so cool if they did.
Well, they weren't selling toys for Twin Cast
but
Sound
still,
Blaster
it would have been
time,
cool.
So.
Do we have any other thoughts about Season 3 on a whole?
I think we've ranted far longer than we were supposed to.
Oh, God.
Space herpes. What?
Cosmic Rust.
Alrighty then. So, that is all for this recap episode of the TFG1 podcast. Join us next time when we'll be discussing and reviewing the final 3 episodes from Transformers Generation 1 Season 3. Those being the Rebirth Parts 1 through 3. I'd just like to give a programming note before I go into the other part of the closing. Episode 24 will be the last episode of the TFG1 podcast until I can get my hands on a Transformers Matrix of Leadership Edition Collector's Complete Series set. After that, we will do episode 25, which is probably going to be way down the line. As of right now, 24 is the last episode. So thank you for joining us here on the TFG1 podcast. There are several ways you can get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. The first is you can visit the GeekCastRadio.com website and find all the other GCRN podcasts there. The second is you can stop by PredicationEmpire.com/CafeSpark and get all your GCRN/Transformers discussion topics there. The third is you can leave the show feedback on iTunes. Please do this. We need 5-star feedback. It is worth it for us. Thank you very much. The fourth is you can visit the Earth-2.net forums and find our threads for the shows in the self-promotion section. And the fifth is the email address, which is tfg1podcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. The show name there is, oops, that was from the M-Wire episode. TFG1 podcast. And what are your all's Twitter names? Whoever wants to go first.
You go first, Steve.
SCP-21.
I would be Pecan Court Michael, PECANCTMICHAEL. That's right.
For now, I am TFG1 Mike with
Steve
saying the immortal words of Optimus Prime.
Autobots, transform and roll out.
And thank you for listening. Until next time. You keep fucking up my outro, you bastard.